Nothing called, and Michigan still scrambling. It's a goal. Michigan finally somehow got it in the net to tie the game. Coyle with Marchand in the zone. Scores! Marchand does it again!
Welcome back to On the Blue Line. Today we'll be breaking down 3 NHL games, including the Bruins beating the Flyers, the Rangers win over the Islanders, and the Hurricanes beating the Leafs. The first game we'll be going over is the Bruins versus the Flyers.
This game started off with the Flyers going up 5 minutes in with a goal from Ryan Poling, and this was assisted by Hathaway and Zamula.
Then Morgan Geekie would score late in the period to tie the game and give the Bruins momentum going in the second, even though the Flyers had the better period. The Bruins did not start well off of that, off this first period. It was just a slow start for the Bruins. But then they finally got it back, but later we'll talk about what happened later in the game. In the second, it would be scoreless through 10 minutes with neither team getting any goals or really getting any chances. They had chances, but
they couldn't convert.
No team could convert. This was until Joel Farabee scored his 20th goal of the season from York and Tippett. Then 3 minutes later, the Bruins would tie it from a goal from Coyle, from Marchand and Geekie, both getting the assists. Coyle and Geekie especially, they've been really pumping up the score sheet lately. They're two guys that I've seen on the score sheet a lot lately.
Yeah, especially Geekie for me too. And I feel like this whole season I've talked about how good of an acquisition Geekie was for the Bruins.
Mm-hmm. He's doing what the Bruins need him to do. He's a third line, second line grinder who is just contributing to the team and doing his job every night.
Yep. Just a minute into the third, Coyle would score again, giving Boston their first lead of the game. And then 2 minutes later, Beecher would score to give Boston a 4-2 lead. And then less than a minute after that, DeBrusk scored another goal for Boston from Lindholm and Marchand.
Then after those goals, after 5-2, the Bruins they can't hold on to a lead. They just let teams come back in every single night in and night out. It's just teams coming back and forth. They cannot hold on to a lead, and
especially a team like the Flyers too.
The Flyers are a good team,
but offensively, offense is not really their strong suit.
It kind of is.
Their defense plays decently well.
Yeah, they have a good team. They're just Bruins can't hold on to a lead. It's any team in the NHL. If they want to make a run in the playoffs, they're gonna have to keep leads like this. They're gonna have to shut teams out. They can't let teams back into the game, especially with 6 minutes left on the clock.
I feel like what got the Bruins through this game was the fact that the Flyers don't really have a goalie.
Yeah.
That's what's...
Yep.
They should have traded for someone.
Exactly. But then Flyers would get one back from Delorier's to make it 5-3. A minute later, Frost made it 5-4, and the Flyers still had almost 5 minutes to tie it.
Yep.
Which, however, Denton Hayden would give the Bruins the 6-4 lead. But then, once again, the Flyers would score another goal to make it 6-5. But the Bruins were able to hold on and get the win. But like I said, they can't hold on to a win. They just keep letting teams back in every night.
Yeah. The next game we'll be getting into is the Hurricanes and the Leafs. And each team looks solid in the first. They both had good scoring chances, but neither team would convert. But then 5 minutes into the second, Tavares would score from Brody, giving the Leafs the lead.
Just a minute later, William Nylander made it 2-0 from assist by Morgan Riley. After that, the Hurricanes had missed a chance to score on the power play, and Nick Robinson would score to make it 3-0 Leafs. The Leafs they were dominating this game in the first period.
And then the second.
Whatever. Then the Canes would answer and get on the board with a goal from Martinook, and then with 3 seconds left in the period, the Canes kept pushing and made it a 1-goal game from a goal from Seth Jarvis.
Yeah,
He is unbelievable. He's such a good player, especially on that first line with Martinook and Stahl.
Yep.
He's young and he's a good player for the Canes.
Yeah. Getting into the third now, the Leafs scored early to take the momentum back from a David Kampf goal. And the Canes wouldn't answer till there was only 1:30 left to go when Aho scored to cut the lead back to 1.
Yeah, and then just with 7 seconds left on the clock, Aho would deflect a shot from Brett Burns, and this game was going to overtime.
Yeah.
And just what a game for both teams, like especially the Canes, who had a rough start, let up 3 goals, and like
Down 3 in the second period.
exactly, and they come back to make it a 1-goal deficit, and they made the game go to overtime.
Yeah, and the pure silence in Toronto after that goal with 7 seconds left was
The
insane.
Leafs really they're like the Bruins. They can't hold on to a lead either.
Yeah.
And then there was no goals in overtime and went right to a shootout, where after just 3 rounds, new player from from Pittsburgh who just got acquired by Carolina, Jake Gensel, ended up scoring a goal, and the Canes actually completed the comeback. So what a win for the Canes. That's really big. Especially almost close to playoff time where they could see them again in the second or third round. So that's if Toronto makes it past the first round. But getting into our last game that we'll be covering is the Rangers versus the Islanders from Madison Square Garden.
First period started off slow, so the Islanders took a penalty, but this would actually go their way as Nelson sent a beautiful feed to Horvat, and that gave the Rangers the Rangers gave up the puck to give the Islanders the lead.
Let's get right into the second period, and there was no more scoring in the first period, but Mika Zibanejad would score with 20 seconds in to make it 1-1. Then Cully would score to give the Rangers their first lead of the game, assisted from Lindgren and Fox.
Yep.
Lindgren and Fox, they're such a great duo. I would say they're probably maybe the best duo in the league, or one of the best. They're definitely top 5.
I would say one of. I think Devon Taves and
Cale Makar. But still they're more offensive. They're an offensive threat when they're on the ice, and coaches of different teams have to realize that they're gonna shoot goals or shoot shots, and they rip it from the point, or they'll just walk it in. That's how good they are.
Yeah, but Bo Horvat was quick to answer the goal from Cooley with his second of the game to make it 2-2 again. It was from a great pass from Brock Nelson. But the Rangers had an answer for that when Johnny Brodzinski tipped in a shot from JT Miller.
Soon after that, JG Pageau would hit Ryan Lindgren behind the net, and he fell awkwardly, keeping him out of this game. As we heard later, he's going to be out for a few weeks, which is a big loss for the Rangers. But they still have great defense back there, and they still have great kids who are in the minors who they could bring up.
Well, it was a great pickup. We didn't think we'd have to use him, but they got a 8th defenseman actually, since Trouba's out as well.
Yeah,
Chad Ruedel from the Pens.
From the Pens,
solid.
yeah.
He's
a solid player. And then moving into the third, goals from Lafreniere and Kakko alongside some clutch saves from Igor Shesterkin would guide the Rangers to a 5-2 win. And once again, Igor's he's standing on his head night in and night out.
Yeah.
Keeping the Rangers in the game for helping them to get wins.
Yeah, and Sorokin really just had an awful game there.
Yeah.
So many shots where he had a clear view of the puck. I'll give him the deflection goal, but he definitely had some saves that he could have made.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in for this week's episode on the Blue Line. See you next time.